What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Sixers Pre-Game. Of course, it's the DSM Media official Sixers Pre-Game show. I am live here on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. And then, of course, I am over here live on our TikTok account as well. So if I'm looking two different ways, don't mind me. This is my first time trying this out live on TikTok. So I want to get more content over there. Get our faces on the DSM account on TikTok more often. And, we still got to get the content to you guys here on YouTube, Facebook, all of that, all the socials. But how's everybody doing tonight? Let's do some house cleaning first. Obviously, if you're not following DSM Media on the socials, you can find DSM Media on Twitter at DSM_media, on Instagram at DSM.DoSomethingMajor. That's what DSM stands for, by the way. Do Something Major. On TikTok, just at DSM Media. And, of course, if you're not already subscribed to the DSM Media YouTube page, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Turn the notifications on. Ring the goddamn bell. We're in Philly. Ring the goddamn bell. Turn the notifications on. You'll be notified every single time that DSM Media goes live. You'll be able to catch all of the content here. We have a question from a commenter on TikTok. Where's Dylan today? Dylan, off today. He's getting some time with the fam, friends, and enjoying some drinks. We're going to let him rest today, but I'm here nonetheless to break this game down. We're going to do it a little different today. As I mentioned, I got TikTok going. I got a lot of stuff going on here. Want to get the audience involved a little bit more if you're willing, of course. Comments, whatever the case may be, to get this thing rolling. We're going to go through all of this very briefly. I mentioned it to TikTok already, but not much to get into as far as schematics and philosophies for what the Sixers need to do to win today. Like, it's the San Antonio Spurs. All the rumors around the God's green earth have pointed to the Spurs tanking for Wembanyana, the international superstar that's set to hit the draft this upcoming draft. So I don't think the Spurs are trying to come into Philly and necessarily steal one. I think the Spurs are coming into Philly. They got a young team. They just want to build. They want to have something to build on, right, going into next season when they hope to get that young star that they want to put in there with Greg Popovich. So I don't think it's a matter of the Spurs. What do you got to do to stop the Spurs? What do you got to do to keep the Spurs from winning this game? The Sixers need to come out and take care of business. Last time I checked, the Sixers were 13.5-point spread as far as favorites, and rightfully so, right? They played the two best teams in the Eastern Conference the first two games, and of course they're 0-2 now. But we gotta keep the perspective there, right? You had the Boston Celtics in that first game. This is the Boston Celtics that ultimately went to the Eastern Conference Finals, went to the NBA Finals last year, right? And then you have the Milwaukee Bucks, who I know everybody's talking about. It's the Milwaukee Bucks without Chris Middleton. I get it. It's a team the Sixers should have beaten. Don't get me wrong there. A team like the Bucks, if you are the Sixers, you're trying to get where you want to get to, you need to beat the Bucks without Chris Middleton. That doesn't mean you need to do it in October. You need to do that in May, June, when it matters. So the hope is that at the end of this 82-game season, the Sixers will be in a better place. They'll be better than the Celtics, the Bucks. There's nothing for sure here. These are all hypotheticals. But nonetheless, that is the hope. That was the hope with this offseason, making the additions that you made. So as far as the first two games, it's disappointing. It would have been a statement to come out and win those games. You're talking about the Celtics, once again, had their core group still in place. These are guys that had a massive amount of experience together throughout the postseason last year. They brought it. Didn't look like they missed a step coming into this season. Then with the Bucks, you just have a team that has been playing together much longer, right? They have a lot more moving pieces. Embiid, obviously, he's got to be better. We're going to talk about Embiid. We're going to talk about Harden. But nonetheless, Sixers, this is about them. This isn't about the Spurs. This isn't about what you need to stop on the Spurs. It's about the Sixers imposing their will and getting a W today. Let's get out of the loss column and get into the win column. So where we'll start today, let's talk about James Harden. Like I said, any comments, any feelings, definitely get those up on the screen here. We'll get you involved in the show. Nonetheless, though, James Harden has been incredible. And my question to the audience would be, what is James Harden's ceiling this year? What is his ceiling this season? Because right now he's averaging 33 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists. Shooting the ball 57.9% from the field, 37.5% from the three-point line, 2.5 turnovers. I mean, you see the assist to turnover ratio right there. 8 assists to 2.5 turnovers. That's nothing. He's running the offense. He's doing a lot of different things, right? First game, he hits a couple threes. Second game, the threes aren't falling, so he resorts to the mid-range game. The floater's back. That left-handed floater driving down the lane, using body contact and letting it go. And ones, finishing at the rim, laying the ball up. Quick first step. Able to get by a guy on the first step. That's huge for Harden. That was one of the things he was missing in the postseason last year. So looking at that, what is Harden's ceiling this season? Is he an MVP candidate possibly? I personally don't think that he's going to end the season in the MVP conversation just because Embiid, this is October Embiid. This isn't November, December, January, February, March, April Embiid. This is October Embiid. This is historically one of Embiid's worst performing months throughout his career. It's not just this season, right? It's probably all-time shooting lows for this season, I'm sure. But it's nonetheless, it's a very on-track trend for Joel Embiid. Starts out the season a little slow. Let's be honest, it's a guy that's been dealing with injuries at the end of the season for however many years now, right? Last season, it was a broken face, the torn ligament in the thumb. Season before that, it was a partially torn meniscus. So each season, he has to work his way back. Each offseason, he has to work his way back from some type of injury. Then we get clued into this week that Joel Embiid had plantar fasciitis coming into training camp. That's huge. It takes him off his conditioning program. There's no excuses for Embiid anymore. I'm not giving him injury excuses, conditioning excuses, none of that anymore. We're past that point in his career. We need production on the floor. But to answer your question marks, because I had a ton of them after those first 2 games, just regarding Joel Embiid. Why does he look so mopey? Why does he look so out of shape? Why does he look so disinterested? Because he started training camp with plantar fasciitis. He couldn't train. He couldn't condition. He wasn't able to follow his conditioning program. So it at least makes sense. But it's not an excuse. He needs to be better. Simply put, this is the perfect game for him to get back on track today, kind of get his legs under him, get his conditioning right, get out there, get a few easy buckets, get the rhythm back. That's what basketball is all about. It's about chemistry, rhythm, playing together, being on the same page. That's a lot of what the Sixers need to do right now with all these new pieces. Joel Embiid, James Harden's playing at a higher level. Let's be honest. James Harden wasn't playing at that level when he came to Philly last year. He's playing at a high level, not this high. So that's an adjustment within itself when James Harden is playing at this level. 30-plus point score, right? 8 assists, 8 rebounds. When he's playing at that level, the rest of the team has to figure out, how do we play beside James Harden in order to not mess up what he's doing, but also get ourselves on track? That's been part of the problem. Tyrese Maxey, Tobias Harris, not getting involved early, not getting involved throughout the game consistently. That's been a huge thing throughout the first 2 games here. And I think that will figure itself out over time. Tobias is going to get open looks when Embiid starts to play better. Those corner threes are going to be open. Same thing with Maxey. As Embiid starts to draw more attention, start to play better, look better, Maxey's going to get a lot more open shots, just like he was getting in the preseason. So just looking at all of these things so far, right? We've talked mostly about the starting lineup. Joel Embiid, let's look at the numbers. I mean, I hate to have to read them, but this is what we do here. 20.5 points per game, fair, whatever. That's low for Embiid, a guy that led the league in scoring last year with 30+. 13.5 rebounds, so he's doing his thing on the boards. 4 assists per game. That's pretty solid, honestly. That's where I would like to see him out throughout the season. But here's where it gets rough. 5 turnovers per game leads the team. That's got to stop. A big man, 7'2", you just can't be turning the ball over that much. And he's got to be more aware of what's going on around him. The double teams, they shouldn't catch you by surprise at this point in your career, Joel. You're a scoring magnet, right? You attract defenders. So there's going to be guys coming from behind you when you're not looking. You got to be prepared for that. Hold the ball strong. Stop turning the ball over, the lazy passes. That has to stop. This is where it gets really rough when you're talking about a 7'2" center. 38.5% from the field. That's not going to keep happening. That will not continue. I know that for a fact. Joel Embiid is better than that. He's a very efficient scorer, even for the areas that he works on the floor as far as being a mid-range jump shooter, working that elbow. He's still a very efficient scorer in the NBA, given his size, given what he does. So I don't expect that to stay down below 40%. That's unacceptable. And then the three-point percentage, 22.2% from the three-point line. That's whatever. I mean, you're just taking too many threes. I'll leave it at that. The percentage is what it is, but I believe that's what's going to happen when you're taking 6-7 threes a game, some of them contested. That's just unnecessary as a 7'2" center. So it's a lot of transition for the Sixers right now. They're trying to figure out, where do we fit PJ Tucker in? What's our defensive switches look like? As you could see in that Milwaukee Bucks game at the end of the game, Tobias Harris, that's a screw up, Tobias. You don't go and drop down on Grayson Allen that's driving into three defenders and give up a wide open shot to Wesley Matthews. That's bad basketball. But that comes with playing together. That also comes with better decision making, getting more in chemistry, more in rhythm with your team. So these are all things that I'm looking at here. Looking at the Sixers. Embiid's got to be better. Got to find ways to get Maxey, Tobias involved in the game, right? And on the defensive end, guys, I mean, the second game against the Bucks, it wasn't as bad. There were still moments where it was just way too easy. You have Brook Lopez. What does he do? What does Brook Lopez do when he steps on the basketball court? He plays defense and he shoots threes as a 7-footer. Yet he was open at least 5 to 6 times from beyond the arc on Thursday night. Unacceptable. When a guy can only beat you one way, you don't let him beat you that way. That's as simple as that. That's bad basketball. Got to be better. So defense, while the score was down in the Milwaukee game, it's still not where you want it to be. Guys were shooting bad. We were shooting bad, obviously. The Bucks weren't shooting it much better. And to be honest, the three-point shot, they killed us in the three-point shot. And the Sixers just simply didn't get enough three-point shots up in that game. I believe it was 13-5 as far as the difference in made three-point shots. So Milwaukee had 13 makes. Philly had 5. Philly only shot the three-pointer like 23, 24 times. Milwaukee shot it over 40 times. That can't happen. You're not going to beat a team like Milwaukee like that. I know Milwaukee is putting an emphasis. Mike Budenholzer mentioned this throughout the game when he was interviewed. They're trying to shut down they're trying to shut down the three-point shot. It's something that killed the Milwaukee Bucks last season. So they're trying to get control of that. But that doesn't mean that you go into that game and only take 23 three-pointers. You need to go out on the basketball court and impose your will. And one thing I will just follow up again about Embiid, right? It was pointed out during the broadcast, you're going against Giannis. He's one of the best players in the world. They're going to get compared as far as what do they do? What do they do the same? What do they do differently? What's one better at than the other? And, of course, it came up distributing the basketball, spreading the ball around, getting other guys involved. And it was pointed out that Giannis just simply does that better. And they showed specific clips that pointed this out very clearly. And for me, it was a realization point of what does Embiid have to do to get better, to be better than what he already was. If you thought he was MVP last year, he didn't win it, obviously. Jokic did. If you thought he was runner-up, it's still in the MVP conversation. It doesn't matter which place you come in. You're in the combo. That's an achievement of itself. What does Embiid do to get better? Because MVP Embiid still wasn't enough last season. Let's be fair. He got injured in the playoffs. Still wasn't enough. So what can Embiid do better to be better going forward for the Sixers, make the Sixers a better team? Efficiency, not turning the ball over, and getting other guys involved. Embiid too often when he goes out, and this isn't an Embiid slander pod. I think Embiid's going to turn it around. It's not about that. I'm not even speaking to Embiid's career lows right now in shooting percentages, turnovers. I'm not speaking to that. I'm speaking to Embiid, the MVP candidate from last season, and what he can do coming into this season to be better. Focus on getting your team involved. Too often, Embiid is going in. Yeah, he can get his shot anytime. Let's be honest. He's very skilled. We know that. We know Embiid can go out and get 30 points. He goes into his motions on offense, and he wants to create a shot for himself. That's fine. And it's good in certain moments that you do that you have the capability to do that. But I think the next step for Embiid is going into those moments with not only the idea to get yourself a shot, but also keeping in mind who else you can get a shot for. He's done it better over the last few seasons. He did it way better last season. I want him to take the next step there, get even better at that. And that's the next step for the Sixers to ultimately turn this thing around and not only beat a team like the Spurs today, but go and make noise in the playoffs. Get out of the second round, for God's sake. So that's just my general vague feelings on the Sixers right now. If you watched Scotty Talks yesterday, you probably already heard a lot of this. I'm not panicking. I know the Sixers are better than what they've showed. I know the Sixers are better than 0-2. They just played two of the best teams in the Eastern Conference in the NBA so far, and throughout the season so far. So I'm expecting better from them going forward. What am I looking for from the Sixers today in a game where you're going against the San Antonio Spurs? There's not a ton of motivation there, I would say. Motivation is get that first win. Let's be honest. If you're not motivated by that, there's a problem. But when it comes to, this isn't the Bucks, this isn't the Celtics, this isn't the class of the Eastern Conference. So this isn't something that you would necessarily need to get all the way up for if you're the Sixers 1 out of 82 games. You do today, because you have to go out and get this W today. You cannot go 0-3, and you definitely can't lose to the Spurs at home. But nonetheless, what am I looking for specifically in this game, aside from a win, which they honestly should get? They're 13.5-point favorites. I beg you, God, do not let them lose this game, especially if I'm sleeping on the Spurs right now, which I don't think I'm doing. But Sixers, you better beat the Spurs. But what I'm looking for specifically, Maxey. Early. I want Maxey involved early. I need him involved in the game, and I need him to get some easy looks. It looks like everything with Maxey lately has been completely forced. And one thing I'll mention here, because it really doesn't make sense to me with Maxey, why are there no opportunities for him to get one-on-one buckets? We give all these opportunities for Harden to go one-on-one, dribble. We give opportunities to Joel to go one-on-one, dribble. You don't give the opportunity to Maxey, your quickest ball handler on the team, who can blow by literally anybody in a moment. He never gets these one-on-one drawn-up opportunities for him to go get a bucket. It's always Maxey catching off of a Harden drive or Maxey catching off of a Joel Embiid double team. Maxey is better than that. And that falls on Doc and the coaching staff getting guys involved, drawing up the right plays to get these guys going. Let me check out my TikTok comments here. What's up, Luke? Thank you for checking in. I appreciate you. Metaverse Law, appreciate you checking in. Yo, it's Gator asking where Dylan's at. Appreciate you checking in. Definitely, guys, keep the comments going. I'm new to this on TikTok. I'm sorry. It's my first time going live, so I will try to keep up with the comments as much as I can here. But nonetheless, back to the game as far as what we got going on today. Need Maxey to be more involved. That comes to the coaching staff, getting him involved early. I feel like the focus has been get Embiid right in the first two games, right? And I get it. Embiid is the best player on the Sixers. I know there's people been talking about Harden's the best player. He's not the best player in the Sixers. Joel Embiid is the best player in the Sixers. That has not changed just because of two games. But I think there's been too much of a focus on getting Embiid in the right rhythm, right? Getting him off to a good start. Embiid should be able to get himself started at this point, right? Hit the boards, my dude. You're getting 14 boards a game. Put them back. Get rebounds and putbacks. Win in other ways, Embiid. You don't just have to shoot the mid-range. There's other ways for you to get on track. And that is why I think it shouldn't be cool fit, but it's not 2005. Hey, I appreciate you. Hey, it's stripes on stripes. This is a Phillies jersey. I'm a clashy dude. It is what it is. It isn't 2005 though. Thank you for the reality check. I appreciate it. I'm getting clowned on TikTok about my threads. This is new as well. But nonetheless, get Maxey involved. Stop worrying about Embiid's rhythm, Embiid's chemistry. He's a guy that should be a self-starter. He should be able to get this started himself, right? Maxey's a young player. He's a guy you need to draw up plays for to get him involved, get his head in the right mindset for the game. Too often we get to the second, third quarter. Yeah, Maxey will go on a spurt and then he'll disappear again. We need Maxey, Tobias, Joel Embiid, James Harden for 4 quarters to be at their best and ready to go. That's part of the problem as well. Guys are not ready when they're getting called upon. I don't know if that's Doc. I don't know if that's, on the players when it comes to conditioning, getting right before the season. But when you see the Celtics and Bucks come out and look an awfully lot more organized, prepared, it is a little concerning when it comes to Doc Rivers, who we all know has many, many question marks. But nonetheless, got to make a focus here today against weaker competition to try to impose your will, figure out your identity, how you're going to flow through games. Is it going to be, Joel Embiid first quarter, James Harden second quarter, Maxey third quarter, James Harden fourth quarter? Because that's kind of what it's looked like. But is that the identity you want to go by? Are you guys taking turns? Is it about the hot hand? These are all things that need to get figured out. Another thing I wanted to notate, obviously the additions the Sixers have had haven't really panned out as far as what we've wanted to see on the court so far. DeAnthony Melton has looked like he's been struggling on the offensive end. He's a great defender. He's struggling on the offensive end, trying to fit in, find the chemistry, trying to pick his spots to take shots. PJ Tucker, not that he's looked bad or anything. It's just PJ Tucker is a playoff player. Like, you're not going to feel the PJ Tucker effect until the playoffs when shit starts to matter. And so that's why I'm not really keeping my eyes on PJ Tucker. When he makes a play, it's great. He's going to play hard defense. He's going to try to get the offensive rebounds. That's all you can ask for him at this point in the season. But 39 minutes, that's ridiculous for a 37-year-old in the regular season. Cannot play 39 minutes. Yeah, chug a beer. Hey, my girl's got the beers on the way. My fiance, if I had one, I would chug it right now just because you said that. On the way, if I get them in time, we'll go ham here. But nonetheless, I got no beers on deck. How sad is that? That's really a sad admission from me. Nonetheless, I appreciate the comments. I'm definitely chugging a beer after this. Maybe a shot of Jameson Orange. Nonetheless, but the way the Sixers have been playing, it would be a cause too. I don't know, guys. I don't got a ton here for you as far as the Spurs. Like I said, there's these few things that the Sixers need to do here to impose their will. And we just want to see positives. It's not really about, beating the Spurs by 20, I would say. You do want to take care of business and get your guys some rest, of course, anywhere you can get it. But I would use this game as more training camp, more preseason. Try to go out there, impose your will, figure out what your identity is. And try to get these guys that are struggling involved, get them shots, get them in chemistry and rhythm, because it's been painful to watch. I'm hoping the defense can really step on the throat early, just really, really pressure them, get some easy buckets in transition. That's something that the Sixers just are ungodly awful at. Is transition defense, transition fast breaks. I mean, we just don't make it easy on ourselves, right? Embiid likes to take 3-pointers when he's struggling. This team just doesn't like to make it easy on themselves, and I think that needs to change. I just wonder, how deep does this go? And we'll see as the season goes on, how many of these flaws are specifically Doc Rivers based. Because there's been a lot of Doc Rivers blame floating around after these first 2 games. And I don't know if it's necessarily fair. I really don't know if it's fair yet, just because you do have an out-of-shape Embiid. You have guys that are just simply not hitting shots. Once again, a mental breakdown at the end of the Milwaukee game by Tobias Harris to crash down on Grayson Allen. So there's a lot going on here, but as the season goes on, we will start to learn more about this Sixers team. Obviously, I'll get into predictions for what it's worth today. Sixers 13.5-point favorites. I would like to see them cover that, quite honestly. I know it's a wide spread, but the Spurs are not a team that got together this offseason and said, hey, we're going to try to go out and make the playoffs this year. You could tell by what they did in the offseason. They didn't do much. It's been rumored. Greg Popovich wants Wembanyana, the international superstar that's coming out into the draft next year. And let's make it easy on ourselves, right? Pressure the ball, get turnovers, get fast break points, get Maxey out on the fast break. He's the fastest guy, one of the fastest guys in the NBA, one of the quickest guys in the NBA as well. Get him out on the break, get easy buckets, get Tobias out on the break, get easy buckets, get this team going. I'm looking for more from James Harden. Just keep that going, keep that energy going, because it's not just the scoring, it's not just the juice, the energy, the quickness, the quicker step that he's working with right now. It's the energy. He looks like he is ready to hoop. He's ready to ball out this season. And he quite honestly looks like a guy that's been training all offseason. Yes, Reno, thank you. The first Go Phils. I get it. It's a Sixers pregame. Go Phils. Ring the goddamn bell. That's why I'm kind of like off focus here. One, I'm trying the TikTok thing live for the first time. We're going to do this every single Sixers pregame show. So definitely hang around, stick with us here, hit the follow button over on TikTok. But I also got the Phils playing at 7:45. It's game 4. They can go up 3-1. Bailey Falter is the starter tonight. Stress levels are on 1,000. My heart beats out of my chest the entire baseball game when these guys are playing. So definitely go Phils, Reno 407. I appreciate that. But let's get to it. Predictions. Sixers cover tonight. They need this isn't a statement game per se, but take care of business, handle your business, impose your will, win by the 13.5 cover, or cover the spread, I should say. And then player of the game, Maxey. I get it. I talked a lot about Embiid. I talked a lot about Harden. Harden, keep it up. He's playing at an MVP level. Embiid needs to get back to that MVP level, start playing a little bit better, playing with more energy, get more efficiency. Let's be honest. He just needs to simply be more efficient as a basketball player. Maxey, been waiting for that signature, that big game since what we saw in the preseason, right? Where he shot an unbelievable rate from the three-point line to where it was to the point in the preseason where it becomes misleading and almost inevitably disappointing because that number was going to drop no matter what. He is struggling shooting the ball, but he's honestly just not getting open looks right now. Defenses are keying on him, and it is his third year. You're starting to pick up some of Maxey's tendencies if you're an opposing team. So they gotta work him in early, get him some confidence, get his rhythm going early, and get some shots flowing, get some shots up, and get them dropping. And I think Maxey can make some noise here today, and I'm looking forward to it. I think San Antonio Spurs, while Harden should be able to do what he wants, he should also be able to draw a lot more attention off of Maxey in order to get him some open looks. If we get the best version of Embiid or a better version of Embiid tonight, that also draws more attention, gets Maxey more open looks. I think Maxey's going to get quite a few three-point shots tonight. I didn't think about this before the show. I should have brought a specific number. I'm going to go with 3 to 4 threes from Maxey today. It's going to be one of those games where the Sixers are hopefully playing loose, playing free, not a lot of pressure, right? You just need to get a W, and that should be the base, the foundation of today, right? W. Then we work from there as far as the specifics. But I'm looking for Maxey to have a big day today. I'm thinking 20 plus, maybe 3-4 rebounds, 3-4 assists, and then 3 to 4 threes. But he ultimately makes his mark today. And I'm going with Maxey as my player of the game. Now, obviously, you want to see Embiid get on track, so I wouldn't be surprised if it's him, if he wants to come out there early, dominate, show what he's working with. But I also know he's not conditioned right now. So to expect him to come out and just drop 30, 35 tonight, I'm not going to go that far. I'm not going to reach that far for Embiid right now. I just want to see a better version. I want to see a more conditioned version and a more engaged version of Embiid tonight. I'm not asking him to be player of the game. I'm going to give that to Maxey, the young gun, the young ray of sunshine in Philadelphia. But nonetheless, that is all I got for you guys today. This wasn't meant to be, too in-depth. I know I usually get a lot more in-depth with my Sixers talk, my NBA talk. But this was just a first-time try for the Sixers pregame show. We're going live on YouTube, going live on TikTok, just trying to get as many fans, as many Sixers fans, NBA fans involved as I can here. And cheers, guys. Go Sixers. Before we get out of here, I do have to shout out our sponsors over at Gents Barber Lounge. You can find them in Old City and Fishtown. Wow, I just mixed both of those areas up in Philly. Gents Barber Lounge sponsors DSM Media. You can find them in Old City and Fishtown. You can go to gentsbarberlounge.com, book your appointment now, kids and adults. Some of the freshest cuts in the city of Philadelphia. They cut the likes of Lane Johnson, Jason Kelsey, those guys from the Birds. So quite a few notable names that go to Gents Barber Lounge. Definitely check them out online, gentsbarberlounge.com. You can book your appointment today in Old City or Fishtown. And, of course, shout out to our guys over at Luxodon.com. Check them out, Luxodon.com. Use code DSM for 25% off the finest jewelry at checkout. You'll get 25% off and free shipping using the code DSM. Shout out to Luxodon.com. Shout out to Gents Barber Lounge. That is going to be it for this episode of DSM Pre-Game Live. Go Sixers, get the dub, and let's get this thing back on track. And let's go Fightins! Ring the goddamn bell!
Holding, gets around in front. Joel Embiid, and Philadelphia has it.